And congratulations to you on your victory.
Thank you so much.
And let's get into this, because I'll tell you what, Republicans have wasted no time in going after you. Already today, they are out with an attack ad. It comes from the RGA, the Republicans Governor Association, and it references something you've talked publicly about before, your personal debt, paying back taxes. I want to play that, and then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Meet Stacey Abrams. She wants to be president, only using Georgia as a stepping stone. Wants higher taxes on working families, but can't pay her own taxes. Stacey Abrams, out for herself, not Georgia.
So, Stacey, how do you respond to what will clearly be a line of attack from your opponents connecting your personal finances to managing a state budget over the next 6 months?
I think I will tell anyone who has ever had a real life that it's easy to make decisions when you have plenty of money, but being able to manage a budget when you have to make priorities and put real people first, that's what I'm an expert at. I take care of my parents, I take care of my niece and my grandmother. You can defer taxes. You can't defer cancer treatment payments for your father or putting a roof over the head of your niece. And so what I tell every Georgian is that I know their struggle because I'm living it myself. But what I've been able to do is also lead the Democratic Party and put us in a position where the RGA feels compelled to attack me before they have a candidate of their own. This means that we're in a position to win, and I plan to take advantage of that.
You talk about the national profile that you have risen to at this point, which is obviously putting you in the crosshairs, as you mentioned, from opponents, from your Republican opponents. And another line of attack might reference this. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reporting that 2/3 of your campaign's fundraising came from out of state. You heard that referenced a little bit in that ad. So what do you say to those who say you're being propped up by liberal Democrats outside of your own state?
We spend our dollars in Georgia, and the reality is I outraised my opponent locally, but more importantly, Georgia is a national state. We have the busiest airport in the world, and one of the largest ports in the country, but we are a part of the national narrative. We are a locally grounded campaign that reached out to thousands of voters, but we're also nationally known because we know that Georgia matters across this country.
When you look at your race, when you look at your campaign, do you consider yourself part of the so-called resistance?
Oh, absolutely. We are resisting the xenophobia that's coming out of D.C. We're resisting the temptation to actually hurt working families by passing the tax scam. We're resisting any conversation that says we have to go backwards. I'm running a campaign on a new playbook where we bring every voice to the table. And if you look at our victory last night, we won across the state. Diverse communities that look nothing like each other, but share the common Georgia values of faith and family and service. That's what we're running on, and that's why we're going to win.
When you turn to the general election, though, obviously this is very different from the primary. This is a state, of course, even in 2008 when Barack Obama won big, he still lost to Georgia by 5 percentage points. So you will have to win over some of these non-Obama voters in November. How do you do that, particularly with a message of resistance?
We win with a message of progress. And here's the thing, that was a decade ago. Georgia's a very different state than it was even 10 years ago. We are speaking to all Georgia voters, but we're also speaking to those independents who know that they want progress for their families, want good education, want the expansion of Medicaid, want help for their small businesses. We don't have to pivot to conservative values to win in Georgia. We just have to speak about our own values and have bold and detailed plans about how we're going to make it work.
Before I let you go, can you just reflect a little bit on your what it means for you to be the first black woman nominated to be a major party, governor from a state in the United States? I'm wondering if you can reflect on, no matter what happens in November, win or lose, where you'll be at from a sort of emotional standpoint.
Well, I plan to win, and when I win, I intend to stand in the stead of history. Georgia has a long story of being the first in a lot of ways, pushing civil rights, pushing women's rights. And I look forward to helping change the face of leadership. I want young women, young men who are thinking about their futures right now to look at my campaign and know that they too can achieve whatever they want. And I'm excited about having the opportunity to be a part of that fabric.
Stacey Abrams, thank you for joining us on this program. I appreciate it. Up next, new reports that the president